Everyone, my name is YungEun Lee, and today I wanted to share a movie with you that really surprised me with how much heart and depth it packed. I Can Speak is a comedy historical film that's not only entertaining but still so deeply moving. I'm going to go through the background, the story, why it matters, and what I took away from it. So, to start off, let's go through some film background. The film was directed by Kim Hyun-suk, and the movie was released September 21, 2017, and in the box office it made $23.3 million. What really stood out to me though was something the director said in an interview. He said that the Korean and Japanese governments signed an agreement together without involving the women victims of these atrocities. This film is an alarm bell on the issue of these women victims. And he calls the movie an alarm bell for the women who were completely left out of political discussions about their own trauma. And that really tells you that this isn't just a film, but it's part of a bigger message and a reminder to everyone. Now, the lead roles are played by Na Moon-hee as Naok-bun and Lee Jae-hoon as Min-jae. Their dynamic is honestly what carries a lot of emotional weight, because watching a younger man slowly come to understand an older woman's pain and them connecting through something as simple as English was honestly very powerful. Now, some more historical background is that I Can Speak the film is actually inspired by the true story of Lee Young-soo, a survivor of the comfort woman system, and she testified before the US House of Representatives in 2007. Her testimony contributed to the passage of House Resolution 121, and it urged Japan to formally acknowledge and apologize for its military's coercion of young women into sexual slavery during World War II. And if you're not familiar, comfort woman is a term for the women forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese military. The film aims to empower the voices of women like Lee, who spent decades being ignored or silenced. And just a quick quote from the director: I Can Speak allows us to say, no, we're not going to stop there, and the Japanese government must take responsibility. Now let's start with a synopsis. So I'm going to call Naok-bun Grandma Ok, and people call her a Goblin Granny because she's well known in her town for being a complaint filer. In over 20 years, she has filed hundreds of complaints at her local district office, trying to improve her neighborhood. But behind her humorous character, the movie shows that while she wants change, she also wants to be seen and listened to. And Grandma Oak ends up meeting a young man named Min-jae, and he had started working at the district office where she files complaints at. After she hears him speak English, she begs him to teach her English. Grandma Oak tells him it's because she wants to talk to her brother in the US, who she has lost touch with. And through the lessons together, the two become to have a really close-knit bond. And later on, Grandma Oak reveals to the press and to everyone in the world that she was a comfort woman, and it's also revealed that she was learning English so she could also testify in the US Congress about what's happening to her without anyone mistranslating her words. And with Minja's help, Grandma Oak courageously heads to the US. And at the conference, Grandma Oak bravely recounts her personal experiences and even provides proof, as many were even doubting her identity as a comfort woman. Her voice is heard throughout the world, and she is able to empower the many women that could not speak. In the end, she is also reunited with her long-lost brother, and they are able to conversate between English and Korean. And one moment that really stood out to me was when Grandma Oak was sitting near her mother's gravesite, and she's asking her mother these questions: why she couldn't have been more understanding of her pain, why she had been pushed away from the family instead of comforting her. And she particularly says, "Mom, why didn't you say, 'My poor girl, it must have hurt'?" But then later in the film, after Grandma Oak reveals to the world that she's a comfort woman, her friend sees the news and then breaks down. She allows Grandma Oak to feel seen for the first time in her life, and her friend reassures her in a way that her mother never could, telling her how much pain and hurt she must have felt. And this moment really stood out to me because it must have felt so heavy to hold so much hurt in her heart. Grandma Oak probably felt many feelings, such as guilt, shame, or other negative feelings towards herself, and she must have felt so alone without family or external support. And to finally be held and reassured by someone else probably felt very freeing. It was the most impactful moment in the movie for me, and I cried so much during this part. And overall, it was a quiet moment that reflects the emotional depth of Grandma Oak's experience and how powerful recognition can be for victims of this tragic period of history. Now, the real life outcome and continuing issues. So in 2007, of July 30th, the House Resolution 121 was passed in the US, and it urged Japan to officially apologize for the comfort women system. And although it was symbolic, a formal apology has still not been issued by Japan. And today, survivors and advocates continue to raise awareness and seek recognition, not only for justice, but also for historical accuracy and dignity. By ignoring history, we risk this inhumane period of history of being forgotten. So, this film brings this issue back into the public conversation, and it reminds viewers that the pursuit of accountability is still ongoing. Now, overall, I think that the film blended humor and everyday moments well, and it told a very personal and sensitive story. The film raised awareness about a difficult topic in a respectful way, and it showed how ordinary people, through courage and support, can make their voices heard even on an international level. One thing I learned from watching this is how important it is to keep sharing stories that have been overlooked or ignored, especially by those directly affected, in this case of Grandma Oaks. And it reminds me that justice isn't always about big courtroom wins, but rather sometimes it's just about being heard and being acknowledged to preserve the truth. And learning about the comfort woman issue through this film really helped me understand the human side of history a little bit more. Thank you.